What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Lex P.
And it's your girl, Dre and Nicole.
And you are tuned in to another episode of Poor Minds,
where a drunk mind speaks sober thought.
We got a guest today. We got a guest today. And we in LA with it.
And in my home, too.
And in your
Welcome.
home.
Whole different scenery.
Very excited.
Yes, and it's absolutely beautiful.
It is.
So thank you for inviting our ratchet asses up in your home. So we have sex educator, got a degree in psychology because it was given smart.
Yes.
Author, all the good stuff, relationship expert, all the good things. Shan Boodram.
I'm sorry we don't have drinks. We're supposed to have drinks, right?
Girl, look,
was I supposed to provide them?
No.
Really, I was. That's what.
It's fine.
You
we
weren't.
actually need
It's
a little.
okay.
Our liver need a little break.
Well,
It's
see, we have a
cool.
little meeting today after we leave here, so we didn't want to be drunk in our meeting, so we were like, we're going to actually chill today.
Yes.
But we've been drinking all week, so
That's why
LA
I said
has
we could take a
turned
little break.
us out. We have been in LA for a week. And I'm so excited because every time we come here, we're like, Shan, we need to meet up with Shan.
Yeah.
Every time they're like, okay, y'all, we got an LA trip. I'm like, Shan, what'd you say? Yeah, we're adding her. So thank you so
And we
much.
finally
Oh, I
made it
didn't know
happen.
that.
Yeah.
I had no
wanted
idea.
to work
Really
with you
grateful
for a while. Yes.
Yes.
So
Oh,
wow.
I'm fine. I'm happy it finally
You
happened.
didn't come in the
Full circle
house and start
moment.
with this moment. You should have been like, we're here.
I know, we were trying to be
This
like,
is a thing.
Yes, we were trying to be professional and ease you,
friends.
and ease you
You know,
on
you don't want to
in.
be you
Friends
don't want to be
forever.
acting too pressed.
Look, she don't be paying. Look, friends forever.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so Shan, tell everybody, who lives on the rock and don't know who you are, like how you started, everything that you're doing, all that good stuff.
I started in 2005, which is a really long time ago. And I started just because of the same, we had a conversation before, so I don't want to keep referencing back to it. But when we were talking before, we were just saying that this is the thing that brought everybody onto this planet. It's why your mom is here, it's why you're here, it's why our pastor is here, is because two people fucked.
Period.
Some people have a different story, but majority of us, that's why we're here. So the fact that we're afraid to talk about it is really bizarre. So I always thought it was interesting. It's so different now because there's actually a lane now. So I'm amazed at how far the field has gone in a short amount of time. But when I first started, people would be like, why did you decide to study sex? How did you come up with this thing? And it is almost as if I said like, oh, I studied the cracks of hardwood floors. Like, this really obscure thing. Yeah. Where to me, it was natural. It was essential to a healthy and happy life. And for me, when I started focusing on better intimate connections, sex, was a big part of that. My whole life blew open and got better. So I just thought that the world could benefit from somebody who was willing to do this out loud and find public platforms to bring necessary conversations to light, which is what you guys now do today and so many other incredible people. So I feel like really grateful to be part of an emerging field that I think has changed a lot of lives, saved a lot of lives, created a lot of lives.
Look, you got two of them now. You know all about it now. You know all about it. Okay, so talk a little bit about your book, because you have a book called The Game of Desire.
Yes.
And it's so crazy because this is Drea's like shit, okay? She loves dating, getting what she wants. So it's like dating with dominance.
Yes.
So talk about that a little bit too, because that's a dominant dater. She gonna come out.
And I think most people are afraid to be dominant in
Yes,
dating.
she is a very dominant dater.
I am.
Tell me about what dominant dating means to you.
Not being afraid to tell somebody exactly what you want, and also not being afraid to walk away if they're not giving you that.
Yes.
That's what it means for me.
Because a lot of people get turned off by that term. And I don't mean walking up to somebody at a bar and being like, can I buy you a drink?
Right.
And that's what they picture when they hear dominance. To me, it's dating with directiveness, where I'm in the driver's seat. Like, I'm not in the tower waiting to be saved by the right person. I'm not waiting to be picked. If I am out somewhere, which I also want to ask your opinion on this, because a lot of women are very uncomfortable making the first move.
Right.
And to me, I perceive the first move as the first point of contact. So it doesn't have to be me asking you for your number. It can be me walking over and being like, what time does this place close? Do you know?
You slick with
That
it.
is the first move to me.
I like that.
So if I see somebody that I think is interesting, that I want to know if they're worth having a crush over. I want to know if it's worth like creating space in my mind to wonder. I'm going to go over there and start a conversation to see.
Got you.
Are you on that time, or do you prefer to, if the person likes you, they'll do that?
Yeah, we don't hit on men at all.
But we
Or
actually
even
talked about this recently on
initiate.
another episode, and I said as I'm getting older, I feel like I would be okay with being a little more assertive. But when I was younger, absolutely not, because I don't know. I had this idea that, how do I know you like me or you really want to date me if you don't approach me first?
Yeah.
But I feel like that's not necessarily true.
Now, one of the greatest things in the book, I talked to a bunch of different experts because the whole point of the book was essentially to put women in a position of directiveness. But in order to be in the driver's seat, you have to know how to drive. So it was like teaching them all the skills. And one of the skills is learning how to talk to people. So we talked to a pickup artist, and essentially that's like a sub-community of men who just hyper-focus on how to get women, mostly into the bed, but in general, like, it's men who lack confidence, probably don't have the natural aesthetic that women are just drawn to.
Kind of like Hitch.
Yes. But you know how, what's that dude's name who was the person who needed the hitch help? Like Will Smith didn't need the advice. It was the dumpier dude.
Okay.
So those kind of dudes, it was a
you.
coaching service for them to get into the game.
Okay.
But there's a lot of valuable things that you can learn from pickup artistry. But the pickup artist was saying to us that going up to people is a skill, just like riding a bike, right? The more that you do it, the better you get at it. And then you can start adding new tricks to it. But just because you can ride a bike does not mean you're going to be a good boyfriend.
Right.
And that's what the aha I had to realize is that somebody coming up to you and being able to start a conversation had nothing to do with how compatible we were, or even oftentimes how much they liked me.
Right.
It was just how much they were in practice of doing that. And the dude who's in really good practice of going up to people probably goes up to a lot of people.
Right.
So I think that was a good perspective shift for me. And I made the first move in my marriage.
Really?
Yeah, like I did. It was like, I played a game with it, which I think is fun. I like games.
Yeah.
Some people, I love games and dating. I followed him, and then I left a comment maybe, and then he DM'd me, and then I left like a lukewarm response in return, and then he didn't say anything. So I was like, oh, that didn't work. So I waited for his birthday, and then I sent him a birthday message, and then he DM'd me, and his DM was just, do you want to hang out? And I was like, yes. So it was like...
Yeah, so it's not like, because when I imagine like women being assertive and hitting on men, like you said, I imagine them being like, oh, can I buy you a drink?
You're thinking of it being aggressive.
Yeah, and I don't have it. I'm already awkward. So it's like, I'll walk up to my, I like your shoes.
You're not awkward, because real awkward people are annoyed right now.
Yeah. Well, I just feel like, sometimes
you're co-opting
for me,
the space.
Yeah, but for me, it's just like, I am not a good conversation starter. Like, I can talk to her. We can do this show because she's here. And this is my best friend, and she makes me feel comfortable. But like, when we go into a room of people and like have to network and do all that, I'm usually in the back.
I'm always the one that...
And she's like, hi, I'm Drea, this is Lex. And I'm in the back like, huh?
Yes.
Like, yes, as much as it sounds crazy, like, it really is like that.
I don't think of you as awkward at all. But I did think that you were the more extroverted, dominant one in the pair.
No, I'm
not
the
at
more
all.
extroverted one.
wow.
And people always respond that way, too, when they find out. They're like, really? And we're like, yeah, Lex will just be standing there. She gets socially awkward.
Yes, very extreme.
I think your anxiety kicks in really bad.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, the first time we went somewhere and people, like, kind of knowing who we were, we had went to support Weezy when her show had came out. And she had like a little screening, and let me not say little, it was a big screening. And there was a lot of people there, and so many people were lined up to take pictures, and then they started lining up because we were over there waiting for Weezy. And I was like, oh my God. And so I just went and I like sat in the corner of the theater so nobody, because they was like, where's Lex?
Yeah.
Where's Lex? And I was like, she's not here. So for me, it's like, I've never been a dominant dater. I'm always the person who I'm scared to ask for what I want, what I need. And I end up in situations with guys like, it'd be like, okay, this is cool, but I want so much more. And then I look up and it's like, we've been dealing with each other for a certain amount of time. And it's like, okay, you can't start all of a sudden asking for shit now, you know what I'm saying? Or asking for a switch up now because they thought that you didn't require this.
Right.
Yeah.
So I always was finding myself in like really bad situations because I wasn't more dominant and assertive about exactly what I wanted. I always try to be like the cool girl that doesn't care.
Yeah.
And, I don't be tripping. It's okay. And it's like, damn, but you're not happy.
Right.
So yeah, that's something I'm definitely working on because I'm so bad at it. I'm very bad at it.
That's a big perspective shift. I think a lot of us grow up thinking that being in a healthy or successful relationship is being chosen, not actually choosing to be there. Like if you had your pick, like, do you have fun? Do you feel sexy? Do you feel cool? Do you feel wanted? Do you feel liked? Like, would you actually choose to be here? And then if you're like, no, but I am chosen by somebody and that's more important, then it's really fucking not.
Right. And I had to ask myself that too. I was having a conversation with my therapist one time when we're going to get to my toxic relationship later. But she was talking to me. She was like, you say that you want this man so bad, but she was like, it's an ego thing. Like, you're just happy that somebody's here and like giving you attention. you don't really want this man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, I really low key don't. Because I realized I was just dealing with him and I was waiting for somebody to come save me. That's really how it was. I kept saying, well, he's here for right now. And I kept saying, I just can't wait to find my man. And people like, you have a whole relationship. I'm like, this is just not my person.
And you can't find your person while you wasting time with somebody else. That's not for you.
Lord, say the word, Drea.
Amen.
Amen.
So we also wanted to talk to you about, too, because, you know, we're both in our 30s. I'm 32. Lex is about to be 34.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about becoming a mom in your 30s.
Yes.
Because I
highly
feel,
recommend.
Yes, I do, too. That's why I wanted to talk to somebody about it, because I think that so many people think that if you don't have a baby by 30, like, what's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to talk about that because I feel like people be all up in our uterus. Like, some people actually prefer to wait.
Mm-hmm.
So
I do want to add a caveat to this because I have become more versed in this conversation recently. And I think that that's not a bad thing because technology is changing rapidly.
Right.
So I didn't have my first kid until 35. I had my second kid at 37. And it was the best thing for me. There isn't a day sooner that I would have wanted to become a mom. And even trying to conceive it took us 6 months. And I needed that time. Because each missed period, I was like, do I really want this? And then by the time I actually got pregnant, I was like, 10 toes down, really in it, my womb, my heart, my soul, my spirit. Like,
Beautiful.
this is truly what we wanted. So everything was in perfect time, I think, for me. And even now as a mom, acknowledging how much sacrifice it takes, I know I would have been resentful knowing how ambitious I am, knowing how much I wanted to do on this planet. If I didn't feel like I had already accomplished as much as I already have, I think this experience would have been totally different.
Right.
Because it's everything people say. It's all the joy, all of the laughs, it's all of the most warm and fuzzy moments with all of the exhaustion and the draininess and the loss of connection with friends and family member and loss of connection with yourself and the lack of time. You truly realize like how finite time is. I was actually saying this morning, like, I truly lust for the days where I could get ready. Like, you guys look amazing today.
Thank you.
So do you, though.
Don't do it.
No, you really
It's
do.
my version of amazing, but I used to be able to put on mascara, put on an outfit and be like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Clip in extra hair, maybe get some gel that was different colored hair to make me like to match my vibe for the day.
Yeah,
Like it was 2 hours and it was like an artful time for me. And now I just don't have that. So there are moments that can cause you to be resentful, but because I actively chose this, I knew what I was signing up for, and I had my time. I had my time in my 20s of looking amazing and cute. I had my time of making my own outfits if I didn't feel like something really worked at the time and getting out a sewing machine. Like I had that time already. So anyways, on to the nuance part. It is important to acknowledge that it is challenging. It can be very challenging to have children in your 30s, and 35 plus, it gets more difficult. And that's a reality that a lot of people invest in stories like mine and then don't actually invest in looking to see if that's possible for their bodies.
Right.
I didn't do that. So go and get your ovarian reserve tested. Go and talk to a gynecologist about your health. Some of these tests can be, 1, free at certain clinics, 2, they can be very helpful, not just even for your fertility journey, but your overall health.
Right.
When you realize certain hormone levels are way down, you're like, oh shit, now I realize why I have such bad acne, or now I realize why I get really moody, or why my periods are so painful. So go and do that. Don't look at that like, I don't want to take the magic away or the mystery away. There are certain scientific tools that are available to women today to make more informed decisions about their fertility, and you should be leaning into those.
Yes, for sure.
I will personally take my kids, if things will progress, but if today my kids were 16 years old, 18 years old, I would take them to get their ovarian reserve tested. I'd be like, do you have the normal amount of eggs for somebody at your age?
Right.
What does this information tell you? If you're really, really low, then maybe if you really want kids, it's a dream come true for you, let's start having a different kind of conversation. But it's just good to know.
Yeah, we were actually talking about freezing our eggs really soon, because I'm still kind of like on the fence if I want kids or not, But like I said, I love hearing people's stories. Like, you had your first kid when you were 35. Because I just need a little time. Like, I just need some time.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing for me, because like you said, how you used to get ready in the morning. And like, that's one thing that makes me feel good. It's like getting up, going to work out, running my errands and having my me time. So how do you find that me time? Because you're running a business, you're a wife, you're a mother, you're a friend, you're all these things. So how do you carve out that time for yourself?
That's it.
You gotta do it.
That's
though.
the answer.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I had a better. I was on a podcast once, and they were asking that, like, about time with your kids, and I was like, when I'm with my kids, because I'm a working mom, so one of my kids are in daycare, the other one was with a nanny during the day. But when I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids.
Yeah.
Like, I'm focused on them. I'm not trying to worry about cooking. I'm not worried about cleaning. I'm just with them. Then I was like, you fucking liar! You have a housekeeper.
Right.
Like, add that in. Like,
You have help.
honestly have not found. There's no way of making more hours. There's no way of making more of you. So the only way that I have found successful to find balance in my life is to pay for things that I don't want to do so I can spend more time doing the things that I want to do.
Gotcha.
It's coming up off that money. I keep so much less money in my pocket because I have to hire a housekeeper. I have to hire external help. And everything comes to my house. My nail lady comes to the house. If our workout trainer has to come to the house because I don't have the time for the commute.
Poor
so
minds comes to your
it
house.
comes to my house. But
What's up, y'all? It's your girl XP.
And it's your girl Dre and Nicole.
And we are here to tell y'all about StitchFix.com. Now, if y'all follow me, y'all know I did a whole revamp on my wardrobe this year. Y'all know I really didn't used to put it on, but now I low-key like be putting it on a little bit. So what StitchFix.com is they'll give you a personal stylist. All you have to do is answer a few questions of like where you like to shop, what's your price range, your size, and they send everything to you.
Yes, and they have a lot of sizes available from extra small to 3XL, and they have over 1,000 brands and styles available.
Now, that's what I like to see because I like a little wide variety. Sometimes I want to give boho. Sometimes I want to go to a dinner party. Sometimes I want to give tea party. Whatever you trying to go, StitchFix.com is going to get you hooked up. I'm telling y'all, this is where I get all my little fits and pieces put together. And the main thing that I love about it, on your first order, if you keep all your pieces, you're going to get 25% off. And if the things that you don't like, you won't get 25% off, but you can send it back. No charge on shipping, exchanges, any of that. So what you're going to do is go to stitchfix.com/poorminds. That's stitchfix.com/poorminds. Put it on, y'all. They going to see you.
Period.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl XP.
And it's your girl Dre and Nicole.
And y'all know one thing about me and Dre, we love to be on a health journey and working out, eating good. And how we eat good is HelloFresh.com.
Yes, I love anything that makes my life much more simple. I love that HelloFresh delivers pre-portioned ingredients right to your doorstep. And with it being summertime, we trying to lose a little weight. We trying to stay toned. So they have their fresh and fit meal kits and their calorie smart and protein smart.
Yes, those are the two best ways to lose weight. Y'all always be asking us how we stay in shape. HelloFresh, it's all about what you eat. You can be in the gym all you want, but them nice bodies are made in the kitchen. So what you're going to do is go to HelloFresh.com/poorminds50 and you're going to get 50% off and free shipping off of your first order. I'm telling y'all, groceries are expensive. You're going to want to do this. So go to HelloFresh.com/poorminds50.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl XP.
And it's your girl Dre and Nicole.
And y'all know life is hard. It's super hard. So one thing that we have done that has helped us navigate and get through it is BetterHelp.com.
Yes, it's always so many decisions with your relationship, decisions with your friendships, decision with your careers.
Yes.
So it's always easier to have an unbiased opinion and somebody that you can talk to and get advice from and help you out. And one thing that I love the most about BetterHelp that I always stress is that you can literally do it from the comfort of your own home. So it's no excuse not to go to therapy.
Yes, we ain't got no excuses no more. All you gotta do is pick up your phone. Y'all be scrolling on the timeline anyway. Pick up your phone.
Even if your phone off, if you got Wi-Fi, you could go to BetterHelp.
Yes. So what you gonna do is go to BetterHelp.com/poorminds and you're gonna get 10% off. And you're gonna save some money. It's no excuse.
Yeah.
We all need help. Get it. BetterHelp.com/poorminds and you're gonna get 10% off of your first month. Go get your therapy.
That's one of the luxuries,
That's
though, of waiting until
yeah.
you're in your 30s and you're successful to have a child because you can afford all of these things.
Yes.
And otherwise, a lot of people in their 20s when they're younger and they have kids, you can't afford the extra help.
Right.
So then you're even more stressed out. And I feel like it makes the parenting experience less enjoyable.
Yes, it can. But if it was truly in your joy to have kids, my sister had her kids at 25. So we have a very different experience. And that is my sister's perfect experience. She's turning 40 this year.
Okay.
wow.
And since she was in her 20s, she's been looking forward to her 40s because she knew her kids were going to be teenagers.
Yeah.
So she's like, my 40s will be an incredible decade for me. I'm not going to have that experience. I'm not going to have freedom again until 60.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a trade-off that happens with that. But again,
True.
I make peace with the fact that I did my free shit. I moved around. I slept on couches. I
Yeah.
did that. I had casual. I did all the things I wanted to do. So when I had kids, I was like, okay, like I obviously still have fun.
Yeah.
I like my life.
Right,
but
right.
definitely, there's a trade-off. There happens. But I think for my sister, it was the perfect time for her.
Is it something that you knew you always wanted? Like you knew eventually you always wanted to be a mom, or were you on the fence?
No, I didn't know for sure.
Okay.
I didn't want to have kids for a long time. I didn't want to have kids until I got married, and I was like, this is great. We should probably share this with somebody.
Oh my gosh. See, I
Okay.
have hope. Okay.
Yeah.
I have hope. Because I've been like, so like, no, I'm outside. And it's like, as I get older, I'm like, like, and
You
babies
just have
love
to find
me.
the right person.
Yes.
You see, we
My
was
baby
bonding.
did. Yeah, my baby did come up
Babies
to you.
love me.
Yeah.
So,
I think
may change
you'll
my
be a
mind.
great mother. You're very motherly.
Yes, and I'm my nephews, like I talk about I'm the one that's like, oh, look at him, girl. That's definitely me. So now that I know that, you kind of, it changed your mind. Life can change
Oh my
your
gosh,
mind.
I would never go back. I love it. And I can very confidently talk to you about all the shitty parts too. But even the stuff that's kind of hard though, I like.
Right,
The
right.
fact that I don't have as much time to work on me provides such an excuse that is very comforting.
Right.
Even for feeling like I don't have to compete with like the young hot girls anymore.
Right.
Like, I'm in a different.
You're free.
I'm in a different range.
I'm a mom now.
I'm a mother. It's
I love
okay,
it.
you know?
I can't wait to get on that side. I'm trying to get out of this
too.
side.
I can't imagine being my age right now and not having kids and then still, I think, feeling the pressure to feel like I have to compete. But maybe you don't have that. But I think in those ways, it has given me more self-compassion and just more breaks.
Well, I think for me, I don't feel like I have to compete, but I definitely feel like I have like an image to keep up. You know what I'm saying? Like I always have to be like, so when people catch me in the airport or catch me in Target, they be like, oh my gosh. I'm like, oh God, I'm supposed to be the dolled up and all this. So it's like, it's a lot of pressure, but
when you're a mother.
well, when you a mother, it's like, I
It's
can
a
be
little
like,
different.
I gotta change little quick diaper.
Yeah, I could look a little crazy because you see what's going on. You see what I
see
got
what's
going on. You gotta
going
give me a
on.
little grace.
I understand that you had time this morning.
Right.
I
Yes,
understand and love that for you.
yes.
But when you have kids,
Yeah, when I'm a mother.
things get a little different.
Yes, but I'm definitely gonna be a nanny girl. So I'm glad you said it because I always would feel
For
like
sure, me too.
when I say that, like I know when I have a kid, like I'm gonna have a nanny. Like I'm
Yeah.
straight up. People like, oh my gosh, well you're already setting it up to where you're not gonna be around your kid. It's like,
But it's not
when
to
they hear
say
the
I'm
word
not gonna
nanny,
be
it's kind of
around.
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So do you feel like sometimes people try to take away from your motherhood because you have so much help?
That has to be a location thing.
Yeah.
Because I think it's interesting that you guys live in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
Where I talked to Cocktails, and they were both like, we'd love to quit our jobs when we have children and look after them.
Yeah.
And I was like, but you have amazing jobs, Like, I mean, as somebody who didn't quit, I love what I do. We do something very similar. So that's just, I think, culturally there, it's more assumed that you're going to be a stay-at-home mom. We're in LA, like, nannies are the culture. So.
Like it's normal.
It's normal.
Right. Yeah. So continuing to work and continuing to strive for your own level of excellence with the caveat that you have a little bit less now, I think is normal. But no, I've never had anybody. I also don't really I don't consider myself the world's best mom, and I'm doing the best that I can, and I'm always trying to learn and be better at it. But yeah, it's not an area where if somebody was just like, you're not a good mom because of this. And first and
Right.
foremost, when my kid's 10, we'll talk.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, let's see what's good, right? Like when my kid
look, their environment is lit. Like if y'all need a third kid, you know what I'm saying? I get the adoption papers pulled up because I wouldn't mind.
I feel like ultimately that's all that matters anyways. It's just about what your kids think.
Right, yeah.
Like if they think you were a great mom, then you're a great
all
mom.
that matters.
And I also just know myself. I think it's a gift if you have the patience to be around your kids at all times. I'm a better mom when I have a break from them. I'm a better mom when I work on me and I can bring that life. And that was something as a perspective shift for me was this book that I read that said that mothers have a responsibility to give milk and honey. And some mothers can only give milk, which is sustenance, food, water, shelter, structure, discipline. But honey is a lust for life. It's a joy. It's that sparkle in your eye. And I get my honey from doing what I feel like I was born to do.
Right.
And I get my honey from having sex with my partner. I get my honey from going on date nights. I get my honey from hanging out with friends. And so that's something I bring back to my children. And I can look them in the eye and say, life is good, because I truly believe that.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, and no offense to anybody, but this is crazy. I can honestly say we've done a lot of episodes with people with kids and without. You are the first person to make me feel like, okay, motherhood not that bad. For real, like the way you just because you said, it's a lot of bad, but it's like, because that is me. Like I've been like, I never wanted kids. And it's like, you kind of change your mind as you get older. So I appreciate that perspective, honestly.
Yes.
Because I've never looked at it like, like the milk and honey theory you just said, because I'm going to need all that. I know myself. I am going to need my vacations with just me and my man or just me and my friends.
Right.
I'm going to need that. But it's like, I still want to have that time to, Carl, I want to give little Jackson a little Peony, a little cousin or something, you know what I'm saying? A little 1, 2.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, I always have known I wanted to be a mom. I just haven't found the right partner yet.
Yes,
but I always
same.
knew that when it's that time for me, I'm definitely not going to want to lose myself in being a mom. I feel like so many people do that. Like, of course, I want to be there for my children and I want to be the best mom that I can be, but I don't want to lose who I was before I had my child, now that I'm a mother.
Yes.
It's so many women that once they have a child, everything is all about the child. And I do feel like your child should be number one, but you still need to be yourself. You still don't need to lose sight of the things that you enjoyed before you had your child.
Unless being a mother is your purpose.
Right.
Like there's this word that's called ikigai. I think that's right. But essentially it's like your why for life, like why you get up in the morning. And if that has been children for you, and that is some people's truth.
That's true.
Yeah.
There are people who work in ECE, like they want to raise the next generation. That's what they love to do. It's not my story.
Yeah.
And I think that's what being in my 30s allowed me to do, is I didn't put the pressure on myself to become that.
Right.
Once I became a mom. I was very honest about who I was, who I wasn't, and I invited a family into my picture with that reality in mind. And if I was surprised by certain things, then great, I shifted with it. But I also wasn't disappointed if I didn't all of a sudden become the person who wanted to chill with my kids 24/7. Because I really fucking don't.
And I appreciate the honesty.
Yes,
yeah.
you can have it all: the career, the family, the husband,
With money.
With money.
With money.
That's like you and Dre are right here. She's like, with money. Because
You need the money.
We were talking about that this morning. She was like, I don't know. It's going to be different for me. Because when you have money, it's going to be a little different.
It is.
So I'm glad
feel
that you said that.
Life is more stressful. Money is not everything for sure. But
It
life
sure
is
do
hard
help.
as hell without it.
Facts. I can
Yes.
tell you. My bank account, ooh, Lord have mercy.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Lex P.
And it's your girl, Dre Nicole.
And y'all know Orlando, we owe y'all, so we coming back in a big way. August 10th, Poor Minds is coming to Orlando for our live show.
Yes, we coming to Orlando Improv. I cannot wait to see all of y'all faces. Unfortunately, we had to reschedule these days. So I'm super excited to come out and see y'all. Doors open at 7.
Yes, and the show starts at 8, and we back bigger than ever. Let me tell y'all should be happy because this show, this round, is super lit. So Orlando, August 10th, doors open at 7. Show starts at 8. Orlando Improv. We'll see y'all, and we outside, Bookie.
Period.
Put it on, because we coming.
Come on, man, July 16th, man, you know what time it is.
QC, Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. We coming to the Bojangles Arena. With the Bowberry biscuits. See how excited she was? That's how excited y'all better be. July 16th when we come to the QC.
Come to the show.
July 16th, come to the show.
Come on now.
You gotta walk away from the game. Yeah, see that? See that type of excitement?
Working on some things.
QC, Charlotte, July 16th, Bojangles Arena. Come to the show.
Oh shit, my bad.
She gonna be doing dread in the parking lot. She gonna be doing dread twists in the parking lot. So if you want your dreads twisted, July 16th, she gonna do them for you at a discounted price. If you get your ticket to the 85 South Show, baby.
Smell like incense, no cap.
She smell like cocoa butter made from scratch. And we selling it July 16th in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Bojangles.
Sure lives.
So get your ticket. Come on in here, ma'am. This is a third grade teacher, and she will be giving out books July 16th, Charlotte, North Carolina. Get your ticket.
Books for the kids.
Okay, so let's get to this first topic. I really wanted to talk about this with you because I haven't ever talked about this publicly. I think everybody, and of course my friends and my family know this, but I went through a really, really, really bad breakup last year. So last year was like very hard for me.
Congratulations.
So, yes, thank you. I got rid of that shit. So at the beginning of the year, I lost my mother. Then I got in a relationship, and it was just already a toxic relationship. But I was in obviously a vulnerable state, and I kind of leaned on this person. And this is not a time to like bash him or anything, but it was kind of like I was just in a vulnerable state. And if I would have listened to my first mind, I would have never leaned on him. I should have leaned on my sister. I should have leaned on Dre. I should have leaned on all my friends around me. So long story short, I had dealt with a lot of him dealing with other women behind my back when I was 100% being loyal to him. When we were in a relationship, he literally the day I went to Breakfast Club, it was like a big deal. I did Breakfast Club for the first time, and we had a show in New York the night before, and it was just so much going on. And it was like, he was in Houston with another girl and breaking up with me and making me feel just so bad. Like I couldn't even celebrate these moments. And on top of that, I'm still grieving my mother. So in the long run, it did such a number on my confidence. Like I felt like, okay, maybe this is just your story. You don't deserve love. You don't look good. You wasn't fine enough. You're not funny enough. Because I was thinking the whole time, I'm going hard in my career because this is what I want to do. But half of me was like, let me try to prove to him that I'm worthy. Let me show him that I can get a check. Let me show him that I'm a boss. And it was like I did all of these things, and I felt like you're still not good enough. So it took a big chunk out of my confidence. And so the reason I'm glad I'm actually admitting this on camera to all of our listeners, because the number one thing that they say to us the most is like, oh my God, Lex and Dre, y'all gave us so much confidence. And, you know, Dre is the kind of person, she's always been like, I'm that bitch. For me, it was like, they saw the progression of me. Because when we first came on the show, I used to come, no makeup, nappy ass wig, and this and that. And it's like, they saw me start, you know, Dre been like, Lex, you're beautiful. Mm-hmm. Like, look at you. And they saw her pour into me and build me up to where I had this confidence. And it's like in a matter of 6 months, this person completely took it away from me. So the first 2 months of this year, I was really spending, building myself back up. So I'm in public talking about, yeah, girl, fuck that nigga. And I could not leave my problem alone. I'm giving people advice on how to feel beautiful, and I felt ugly. I felt terrible about myself. So getting to the point, I want to talk about how to get your confidence back after a toxic relationship. Because I feel like I'm still working on it. You know, I'm a lot better now, but it's still a work in progress. And it's going to take some time to undo the things, this person did. So can you give us a little insight on confidence and dating and things like that?
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes,
I'm really
girl.
sorry. I'm so sorry about your mom. I couldn't.
Girl, it's been a struggle, but that's what I said, because I don't want to seem like he is manipulating and conniving, but he knew he caught me slipping because he knew what I was going through. And I kind of felt like he took advantage of that a little bit. So for me, it was just kind of like, damn, I got to go on here every Friday and preach to these girls to love themselves and don't deal with a man who don't love you. And I'm dealing with a man who don't love me. I felt so, and I'm glad I said this too, I have felt so fake being on the show, preaching the shit I preach. A lot of the times me and Dre, we sit down, and Dre be like this, and I be like, yeah, girl, fuck these niggas. No. And I'm just like, damn, you're literally dating the man that you're talking about, not telling these girls not to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to talk about today, getting your confidence back and being true to who you are and what you deserve. And like you said, dating with dominance and asking for what you want and what you need. And we're not talking about materialistic things. it's easy to ask somebody for, a phone bill. I'm talking about what you need mentally and emotionally.
I think this is one of those cases where it's good to go back to go forward. And what really helped me, I know so many people are relating to you so hard right now. And I have your exact story. Copy and paste, probably even down to the story of you having this really high moment. My partner was invited to BET Awards and he was like, oh, we should go. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, have you been before? I was like, no, I was supposed to go, but I didn't end up going. He was like, why? And I was like, oh, my partner picked a fight with me before. When you have those moments and that person takes those as opportunities to deflect, some of the lack that they're feeling. But anyhow, I relate to what you're saying deeply. And what really helped me was to go back to intellectualize and understand it, to side with myself. Because what's difficult sometimes about building confidence out of a place of shame is that you're always trying to other yourself from who you were and what you went through rather than hugging yourself. Because if you really understood it, you'd be like, love is addictive and manipulative mind games are a real thing. So there's a couple of books I recommend for you that I read them and I screamed when I read them because it was almost as if I flipped my ex-partner's mattress and saw a potion recipe that he had on me. Because there are strategic things that people can do to get you hooked beyond reason, beyond logic, right? It's the doctor who tells people about obesity and struggles in the same place, or the addictive therapist who also has their own addictions. It's just because nobody is above these things if they're utilized to you in the right way at the right time. So love is a drug naturally. And if you are in a low place and somebody knows how to pull your strings, and we now know words like love bombing and gaslighting, and those are so crucial. So I read a book that's called Dark Psychology, and it breaks down the different manipulation tactics that people can use. Read that. Identify the one that was happening to you and be like, fucking, Lex, I get it. I'm so sorry. Right? Reading about evolutionary psychology and why we are born to make bonds, and then be like, I get it. I get why I was so hooked on something, because our brains are not designed to be happy. They're designed for survival. And a really fucked up thing happens when we're in toxic relationships where the person that we look to for safety is also sometimes a person who harms us. So what your attachment does is when that person is a danger to you, you might immediately go into fight or flight and want to separate. But then once you're at a place of peace, you want to go back to your safe space for comfort and for shelter. And the safe space is the person who hurt you. So it creates this very bizarre cycle that happens to many people, which is why they have the stat, it takes somebody 7 different times to leave their abuser on average. So give yourself hugs. I just still say that. Don't go and research, try to understand, try to side with yourself. Siding with yourself is such an overlooked. I sometimes hear people on podcasts who are, healed or born again. I used to be a hoe. Now I'm this. I used to be an idiot. Now I'm really smart. It's like, well, why were you an idiot? Why are you degrading your past self? Like, if you can't side with the past you're also going to have a hell of a time siding with the present you. So I think that bit of, going back and accepting the decisions that you made and acknowledging why you made them and embracing them, knowing better now and doing better now with the information that you have, but knowing that if you didn't have that information, how would you know?
Right. And I'm glad you said that, because that's what I've been struggling with now, because I'm in a new situation and the way he communicates is just like a complete 180. And I'm like, okay, I had an issue with him this weekend. He kind of made me upset and I was so worried, and I kept talking to Dre about it. And I'm like, if I say something to him, he's going to think I'm nagging. I was worried about not being the cool girl that doesn't care. And, and then I was dealing with somebody in the past who, every time I brought him an issue, it was met with resentment. Oh, you always tripping. I didn't even do that. You always getting mad at this and X, Y, Z. So it got to the point to where I just don't voice my problems anymore to people. I just swallow it, sweep it under the rug, and move on. So,
because if bringing up your problem causes a bigger problem.
Right. And then it would just make me feel like, why did I even say anything? So I was like, Dre was like, you know what? She was like, you can't put on him things that people have done to you in the past.
And
so
you can't assume what you think he's going to say or how he's going to respond before actually having a conversation with him and giving him the opportunity to respond. He might respond in a positive way, and he did.
Yeah, so it was kind of like, I swallowed my pride, and it was crazy because I was so nervous. I talked to him about it, and I still even wasn't saying it. I was kind of beating around the bush. She was like, babe, tell me exactly what I did and exactly how you felt. I need you to say it. And I was like, okay, I'm upset because you did this and it made me feel like this. And he was like, I am so sorry. He was like, I had no idea. Thank you for sharing that with me. He was like, I don't know these things if you don't tell me, you know? And it was very like a healthy conversation. I'm like, oh shit.
Yes.
What is this? You know what I'm saying? So now I'm in the point where I was having a conversation with my friend this morning, and I'm glad you said that as far as like forgiving myself. Because now that I'm dealing with him, and even, you know, if we work out, me and him, or if we don't, he's teaching me how to communicate. And that's something I can use for the rest of my life. So now I'm like mad at myself for last year, for letting that situation go on. So it's like now I'm just dealing with being mad at myself, and I'm trying to forgive myself and give myself grace. But it's so hard because I'm like, I cannot believe I let myself hit rock bottom like that when I was already going through something that needed, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm gonna get emotional, but I was going through something so bad that I needed my people around me. And instead of me leaning on my people, I leaned on something that was so bad. And it's like, so now I have to go through the motions of like, even forgiving him, and I had to block him on everything. You know, my therapist was like, we gotta get past this. So now I'm in like I said, I'm trying to forgive myself, and I'm trying to get past it. And like really, sometimes you got to forgive people for things that they're not sorry for.
Yeah, for sure.
So that is what I'm dealing with as far as like, you know, getting my confidence back and just letting it go.
I feel like, you know, the crazy part is it's just crazy how things flow into one another, because that's actually a really good segue into our next topic, which is practicing detachment.
Yes.
And I think that even going back to what you were saying earlier with your new relationship and new situation that you're in, I think it's like a trauma type of thing to start practicing detachment with a person who actually is willing to do the work and actually really cares about you.
Yeah.
But you're so afraid because of this previous situation that you've been in.
Cause I'm a Leo now. So when I date, I'm like, oh girl, this is my man, and we in love. So
you practicing it with the wrong people.
Yeah. So it's like, I think you need a little balance when you first start dating. So I wanted to talk about that too. So like, it's when you date, you can't be like, oh, I'm in love with this person within like the first day or two. So how do you practice dating with like detachment if you're like a person who is used to love bombing and falling in love, and you fall hard in the beginning?
I'm a big fan of slow love strategies, which are ways to delay commitment. Whether that means that you implement hard rules, like I started out with my partner as fuck buddies. It wasn't the strategy for us to become anything more than that, but it ended up being that.
I love a sneaky link up.
And so y'all had a conversation about it.
Yes, definitely.
Wow.
I was coming out of a very toxic relationship.
Okay.
I knew emotionally I didn't have what it took to get together with somebody else, because I had to go back to go forward.
Yeah.
And I was actually, at the time that I was with my ex, I was in school for sexology. And sometimes in toxic relationships, sex is one of the first things to go, or one of the last. In our cases, we stopped having sex. It was an awful relationship, but I was learning all this cool shit. So when I got out of it, I'm like, I know I'm not ready for an emotional bond. But God damn it, someone has to see this cool shit that I've learned. So I was like, and I deserved pleasure. So I just wanted to invite a sexual partner in my life. And so it ended up being that. But that is something I've learned about later, of just the importance of slow love, keeping in mind that we're born to bond and that your brain wants to make fast decisions. And some of the things from an evolutionary perspective that we might find attractive, like aggression, which would have been helpful 200 years ago, are actually not that helpful today. So you also have to give yourself a chance for logic to kick in. So I think dating lots of people is great. Setting up parameters for yourself, because knowing what makes you go to the next level with somebody, and then stopping yourself before you get there. If that's sleepovers, don't have sleepovers.
Right, okay.
There's little things I did, like I changed my partner's ringtone in my phone. So if he called, I wouldn't always be doing that thing where I'd like, oh, is it you? And then feeling sad if it's not.
So, because that's me. That'd be me.
Yeah.
I got tied that into a lot. Like,
because there's ways that your body can trick you to feeling like somebody's more important to you and that you're closer than you actually are. So if you know that about yourself, it's like kind of setting up those guardrails. I think dating multiple people is very important for a very long time.
Okay.
I think
Just
so,
to allow yourself the space to not get too, and also it's the benefit to that person too. It allows me to show up more relaxed. We talked about this before, how that's like one of the no-brainer tips in great sex, like just fucking relax.
just relax.
It's the same thing with dating too.
Right.
And it's hard to relax if you feel like the stakes are really, really high and this is all you've got. This is your shot at love.
Yeah.
So I mean, but you're already with somebody, so this is all null and void for you. So
Well, it's still kind of fresh too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's something new for me.
Yeah.
So I still do want to take things slow. Like, I want us to enjoy this moment. Like, I don't want us to be looking, okay, like, are we getting married or not? I don't want to do that yet. I just want to enjoy us and this new thing, you know? But I know how my brain can get.
And see, I feel like my problem is I have detachment down to a science to where it's unhealthy.
Yeah.
Like, to the point that me and my current partner, we have issues with that, because it's like anytime something happens and I don't like it, I'm always ready to walk away.
Yes.
So I'm not really ever willing to work through things.
Yeah, I got married thinking about divorce.
Really?
Wow.
But that's because that's the way that I was brought up to. And also from my past relationship, it was like, oh, I'm going to get married, but I can always get divorced.
I always say I'm going to have 2 marriages. And that's terrible to say that. I shouldn't even be thinking like that, but we laugh about it. But I'm always like, yeah, I'm going to get married twice.
Come on, Elizabeth.
Because why are you already planning for your first marriage to not work out?
Right, because of your experiences and what you've seen, and you know, and that's valid too. I think as long as you're aware of it, and that's what's really important.
Now, only because I feel like this relationship has made me aware of it.
And that's great. That's when it's time to reevaluate, right? Like, you have developed certain ways of coping and of protecting yourself based on the environments and relationships that you've been in. And you keep those up until you're in a different relationship and environment. I don't need it anymore, right? Like, I'm going to keep my spear with me if I'm living in the wild. And then once I get into a home and I've been there and it's proven to be safe for me, then I'll put my spear down now. Right? So I think that being aware that the shift has happened, but also being kind to yourself and siding with yourself and acknowledging that you have this spear here for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, you're not crazy, you're not avoidant, you're not afraid of commitment. Like, you love yourself and you want to do the best by you.
I think I still am a little afraid of commitment. I've always been the type of person where I feel like if I'm dating one person for too long, I start to feel like, well, am I missing out on something?
Yeah.
But then I'm also not the type of person that feels like I can share somebody either. Like, I'm also still kind of possessive. But then if we're dating for like 2-3 years, I can't help but feel like, okay, maybe is it something better out there? And that's something that I really struggle with too, because I don't know why I'm like that. Like, I don't know why I'm always wanting more. Salacious.
Yes.
Never content.
Yeah.
It's called the hedonistic treadmill. And that's something to be aware of yourself too, because there's some people who are on that. But then also naturally, I don't know, I kind of feel like when you're with somebody, you like best friends. You've done this before in your life in other places.
Right.
You have met multiple people and decided that, like, are you perfect? Are you the absolute best person in the world? Yes. But you know what I'm
Points
saying?
were made.
But I think, yeah, could there be other people? Yeah,
Right.
but
Right.
when I look at you as a whole, and when I look at myself as a whole, and I acknowledge the fact that not only is it hard to find someone to love, it's also hard to love me. And I found somebody who's willing to do that.
Right.
And willing to commit to that. That's not really worth gambling over. So could there be? Yes. But I also, on the other side of staying here, know I'm going to have a great life. And I know I'm going to stand by this decision. So what's the danger in letting yourself fall?
And I told her too, because I have known Dre for a very long time. Obviously, I've seen her through, her handful of men, and I keep telling her, like, this is very different.
Oh, I be gone. I be
This
leaving.
is very different. Like, this is the first time I actually feel like I've seen her, like, in love. Like, I've seen, like, we have love for people, and this is the first time she's been in love. And I keep telling her that, just, like, give yourself patience and give yourself time, but there's no way that you're going to be, like, willing to risk this person. I don't think she should.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like, it makes me extremely happy, her and this person, so I'll be like, don't risk it, girl.
Yeah.
Don't risk it.
I've been hanging on.
Okay, so very new. Okay, so now we gon' get into
the bed.
Ow.
The bed.
Bow.
The bed.
Bow.
Bow. Bow. Bow. Bow.
Purr. Okay,
I
so
could have tried to force that.
it's all right. You was like,
I didn't
give a
have the
little,
bow.
one too. Okay, so first, you said you went to school for sexology. So
Yes.
exactly define what that is for us first.
Sexology is the study of sex as it relates to biology, psychology, sociology. So there's multiple different ways that a psychologist can show up. I often say a psychologist is to sex what a nutritionist is to food.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, perfect. Because you can really help us with this. Okay, so we talked about this a little bit on the episode that we just recorded with you, and I was saying how whenever I have sex with someone, sometimes I can check out in a relationship. Like, I'm not there emotionally, and the sex just becomes physical for me. If sex is just physical for me, I don't enjoy it. Like, I am a very emotional person. I have to mentally connect with you spiritually, emotionally, and physically. I need it all. So, you know, in your 20s, you know, you meet a guy at the club, y'all go home, y'all have sex, and it's cool. Y'all can go y'all separate ways. In my 30s, I cannot do that. So talking about my past relationship again, he had done so much stuff to me, but in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm his girlfriend. I have to give him sex. Because if I don't give him sex, he's going to get it from somebody else. And I don't want to have sex, but I'm going to give him sex because he wants it. And it got to a point to where it was just like, it was like a job. Like, I wasn't enjoying it anymore. And I want to talk to people. Now, I was in a toxic situation, but for people who are like, say, in healthy relationships and they just have so much going on and they're having sex with their partner, but they've checked out emotionally, mentally, how can you check back in if you love your partner, y'all have a healthy relationship? Because sometimes it's hard to check back in emotionally with your partner in the bed. And sometimes they check out physically as well. So how do you and your partner meet back up in the bedroom when y'all have gone separate ways?
I think a lot of people are in the practice of being checked out in their life overall.
Right.
And inviting sensuality into your life as a practice, which is just being with your body and engaging in your 5 senses, 6 if you believe in that. So that's a very simple thing you could do to ground yourself in this moment. If I'm starting to drift off while I'm talking to you, to think about like, oh, time, or my kid, this and the third, like, the sound of your voice. Let me like focus on that. Let me focus on the way that the chair feels against my leg right now. Let me focus on my breathing. What can I do in this moment that brings me back to my body? And so I think start that practice out of the bedroom.
Right.
Do that at the DMV. I'm pissed, I'm mad, I'm here for so long. Like, okay, let me get into my body. I'm going to just use my thumb against the palm of my hand and just feel this and focus on this. I'm going to bring pleasure into my in my life in this moment, despite the fact that maybe the circumstances aren't optimal. And then when I'm in the bedroom and it's optimal to experience that and I still don't, I can invite that same practice, but now at least I've gotten a bit more practice at it.
Right.
Breathing is also a huge one, something that's actually kind of new for me. I was talking to a sex expert about the sounds we make during sex. And I was like, okay, you know, sex kind of sounds the same for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You like that? Yeah, come for me. You guys, that sound
Right.
is track. And then he was like, oh, that's not how sex sounds for me. I was like, well, what does it sound like for you? He's like,
Really?
Oh, hell no. That's interesting.
and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's how sex sounds? He was like, yes. It creates a head high. It brings more sensation to sex. It grounds me in the moment. It gives something to focus on. And it puts me and my partner, it gives us an audible track to get in sync with each other. And I was like, oh.
Have you tried it?
No, kind of, yeah. But it's a little
Kinda,
quieter because I'm
yeah.
not confident yet. So
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah. I think maybe we can start like that, though, like breathing together with your partner more so. Like,
I'm going to really do it very loud because when he was talking about doing it, he said get as loud as you think you can possibly go. So to see what your voice could even sound like challenge it. And so I'm going to do it during masturbation. I'm actually going away from my husband for a couple months and I'm going to have lots of time. So I think I'm going to try it first with me. You got to feel like it's cool for you first before you invite someone else into that practice.
For sure.
Whether you're partnered or you're married or you're single or whatever it is, I do think it's really important. It's nice to have a partner you can engage with stuff in.
Yeah.
But like first figure out if you fucking like that stuff.
Right.
Yes.
Lex, that kind of remind me of the conversation we were having that time when you said you had sex with that guy and he started screaming like Tarzan.
Yeah, it was not that. He was screaming. I was like, okay, I know this pussy is not that good.
But I'm laughing only because, like she said, like sex sounds different for some people because that's insane the way you said he was like,
oh. He just kept going, like holding long
and he
notes.
was serious.
Yes.
Oh, he was serious. I was like, this ain't. But you know what? I don't know if I could be that confident, like you said, to do the together, because my nigga voice kind of deep, and that would kind of scare me, because sometimes he be growling a little bit. But I actually like the idea of us like breathing together. And breathing in sync together. I think I would actually be okay with trying that.
But then if the pleasure is better, the connection is better, both you're seeing your partner twitch in ways you haven't seen before. The fact that their breathing is a little annoying is not going to be the most important thing.
Right.
So if that's the pathway that unlocks a new pleasure potential for both of you, then you'll get over it. And even that Tarzan thing, like I think maybe in my 20s I would have sided, maybe even 5 years ago I would have sided with you. I'm like, that was kind of weird. But
Right.
now I would be like, I'm with an amazing sexual partner who's authentic, because sex never gets boring if I know how to authentically respond to what's happening.
Yeah.
And I can't do that if I'm running social scripts in my brain.
Yes.
How I'm supposed to sound, what I'm supposed to look like, what I'm supposed to do next, what I'm supposed to say. So if I'm genuinely reacting to you and you're reacting to me, it's going to be different every single time.
Oh, facts. So I'm not gonna lie. Like, we're kind of into like recording each other now, and I was like watching. I was like, damn, that's what I sound like.
That's what I sound like.
Because in my head, when I'm doing it, it sounds way sexier than actually like watching. I'm like, damn. So maybe I do sound like Tarzan Man too.
Now see,
I probably sound like him too. He was probably watching this like, bitch, you was doing it
sound
too,
like
bitch.
me.
We twins or something, Pookie. So I think that's a good method to try too. Is there anything that you do, Drea, like when you kind of like emotionally checked out, or like you're mad at your boo and like, you know, y'all kind of reconnect in the bedroom?
I think that that's something that me and you, we both differ in that way. And I think we actually used to talk about that when you used to talk to me about your last relationship, and you would say like, I never tell him no. I'm never going to tell him no. Like if I'm not emotionally there, I can't have sex with you.
Yeah.
I don't even want to, because I also feel like it's just not fair for you either, because I'm not even enjoying it. I'm just doing it just because I feel like I have to. And to me, that's not healthy. You have to take time for yourself. If you're not feeling like your best self, I don't even want to give that to my partner. So I don't have a problem telling somebody like, look, no, I'm not in the mood to have sex today, or even, and maybe just not even telling them that, but also letting them know what's going on and why I feel that way, instead of just telling them straight up like, nah, I'm not having sex with you tonight. I'm not in the mood to have sex today, and this is why. I haven't been feeling like myself. I feel like I'm off. I feel like my energy is off.
Like we're off.
Yeah.
I feel like we're off, and I don't even want to put that on you, because energy is transferable, like we always say.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, I can't do it.
Right.
I'm gonna
But
say no.
That goes back into being like you said, like dominance in your dating and telling somebody, because I felt like if I ever would tell him no, I'd be like, oh, I don't feel like having sex today because you made me feel like XYZ. He was the type of person to be like, okay, and just roll over and be having an attitude and be mad.
Yeah.
Not like, instead of asking me like, what's wrong? How can I fix this? I want to make you feel better. Be like, he's in his head. He don't care about what made me upset. He's mad because we're not having sex. Don't give a damn about why I'm not having sex with him. So that's why I just never would let it get there. I would just, have sex and go to sleep, and then I'm still mad. Like that's what I said. I'm recognizing the problem now. But you did tell me that. You were like, girl, you crazy. If I don't feel like having sex, I'm not having sex.
Because I'm not. Why would I make a sacrifice for you?
Right.
When you don't even give a damn why I'm upset.
Right. Exactly.
You don't even care to explore why I'm in my feelings or why I'm not feeling like being intimate right now. You just gonna roll over. So why am I gonna even go out of my way to try to please you in that moment?
Because you're addicted.
Yeah.
Yes. I was so addicted, and it was nasty work.
Yeah. You did say y'all had amazing sex, though.
I mean, we did have amazing sex, but like I said, towards the end, it felt like a job.
Yeah.
Like, as amazing as it was, like, it was still good, but I'm still just like, were you having sex with that girl like this? Like, I became obsessed.
Right.
I was, like, out of my body. And it's crazy because one of my best guy friends, he's, like, my best friend. We actually dated, and we're platonic friends now. And I was telling him about a fight that me and my ex had got into and how I was yelling and this and that. He was like, I dated this man for 2 years. I never yelled at him. He was like, I can't even see you getting that upset. Even with my friends, I don't yell at y'all. So it was like he was bringing out a side of me that everybody who were the closest people to me, they're like, that's not even you.
Right.
Yes.
So it's like I had to recognize, like, he's bringing out like a monster that I didn't even know existed. So it's like it took things like that for me to recognize, like, okay, you have completely checked out of this, like, in every manner. But the first sign for me was the sex. Like, I was emotionally checked out because, like I said, I'm a very sexual person. I love to have sex. So for me not to want to have sex with you, you done did some shit, okay?
Right.
You done did some shit. Because one thing about me, I'm a fuck, all right? So for me to check out emotionally, but that's a situation I shouldn't have checked back in, and I'm glad I didn't. But for the people who have checked out emotionally,
Right.
the breathing is a good tip, to get back in it.
Or not doing it at all.
Not doing it at all.
Take care of yourself
Emotionally
first.
checked
Take care of
out,
yourself
ask
first.
yourself why.
Yeah.
And have a
take care of
conversation.
yourself.
We're big on talking.
Amen. We definitely are.
y'all? It's your girl XP.
And it's your girl, Dre Nicole.
And Miami, we coming to turn up. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. We've been long overdue for a Miami show. And I can't wait to see y'all. It's the perfect way to kind of, I guess, end the summer, because the summer gonna almost be over.
And it's like...
But August 13th, we gonna be in Miami Improv. Show doors open at 7. Show starts at 8.
Yes, and I'm telling y'all, look, this is right before my birthday too, so y'all know I'm finna be lit and
It's
turning
lit.
that. Ooh-wee, I'm finna put it on for Miami. I'm telling y'all, listen, August 13th, doors open at 7, show starts at 8. Miami Improv, y'all, please do not miss this show. Y'all know we're gonna have people popping up, rolling up on us. Miami, it's gonna be fun. Welcome to Miami.
Period.
So I'm Miami.
That's,
See y'all
what
soon.
the old people used to say, be there or be square.
What Will Smith said, getting jiggy with it.
All right.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl XP.
And it's your girl, Drea Nicole. And we just wanted to come and talk to y'all and let y'all know that we do have sponsor packages available for this tour coming up. Yes, for Richer for Poor 2. We do have sponsorship packages available. If you would like to be a sponsor for the live tour, all you need to do is hit us up at dreaandlexshow@gmail.com. That's DreaandLexshow@gmail.com, and all of the details will be provided to you. But yes, if you want to be a sponsor, if you have a small business, if you have a big business, whatever type of business you got, we all about business. Go ahead and hit us up, and we're going to send you all of the details so that you can get your business sponsored with us for Richer for Poor too.
Yes, and like she said, we have different packages available for purchase. So make sure y'all email us, dreaandlexshow@gmail.com, and we'll see y'all on the road. Period.
So now we gonna go ahead and get into the vibe.
The vibe. Hey.
The vibe.
Ow.
The vibe.
Ow. Yeah, see? You
Now
got
you feeling
it.
it.
Yeah.
Swerving
You-
up a little
I
bit. There we
like
go.
that. We're gonna call that the Shan.
Okay.
So this segment we normally talk about, what we've been listening to. So what music have you been listening to lately?
Oh, I really do like Dembo a lot. I'm going back to Toronto for the summer. It's my first time really being back since the pandemic. So soca, I'm going for Carnival, so I'm doing lots of soca mixes. Happy shit.
Yes.
Really,
Feel
really
good
happy,
music.
feel good music.
So I'm an R&B girl.
Right.
Y'all know I just dropped my playlist the other day. I hope y'all are really liking it. But I found this artist, and it's crazy because he hasn't released music in like 2 years, and he has a really good song called Intoxicated Truth. His name is Mazzotti. He's from Dallas, and he's so dope. But it's basically talking about, just being honest with yourself about your relationship and it being okay to move on and, forgiving yourself. So it's called Intoxicated Truth. It's by Mazzotti. Like, I got a good R&B list for y'all. Y'all gonna love it. I'm gonna put the link below. Get your bop on. I like a little wine session at night, when you get out the shower and you doing your nightly routine. So this is definitely that type of playlist for sure. What you been? I already know what you've been jamming, girl.
But the funny thing is, I actually just listened to the album maybe like 2 days ago. I knew it had came out. Gunna has a new album. I knew it had came out, but I hadn't listened to it yet until we were at our live show on Friday. And Cliff, one of our agents, was telling me how good the album was. And I listened to it, and I was like, okay. And we were just talking in the car about how good Fuck You Mean is.
Yes. That's my favorite song on the album.
That's my favorite song, too.
Yeah.
And so I just want to say, because it's been a lot of controversy surrounding Gunna. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I am a civilian. I ain't in that world.
It don't matter if he snitched or not.
I'ma still listen to him.
He made a fire album.
He did, and I really love that song. So yeah, shout out to
Gunna. Okay. So now we're gonna get into our favorite segment of the week. It's called Pour Your Heart Out. If you want your question answered on the show, make sure you email us at askpourminds@gmail.com. If you're a Patreon member, make sure you put that in the subject line because you get to skip the line. Okay, so we're going to give some advice. Now, we know you give good advice.
Right.
Okay, so you want to read the first one, Drea?
Yeah, I'll read it.
Okay.
Hey, ladies. Well, I've done the unthinkable. I've fallen for my sneaky link. I met him about 7 years ago at work. Everything was strictly friends at first. We were BFFs for about 2 years. During those years, I had developed a secret crush on him. But then life happened, and he went to another job. I would think of him often and wanted to reach out, but I was still in a relationship with my son's father.
Ooh.
Fast forward 3 years, and my baby daddy and I had broken up after being together for 16 years, y'all. And all I could think about was him. We will call him Wayne. I finally got brave enough to reach out to Wayne, and it was like we never stopped talking 3 days later. And I found myself in a hotel room with my ass in the air getting the best dick I ever had.
Mood.
We have been spending time and building a situationship ever since. We never talk about being in a full-out relationship, but as time goes on, I'm falling harder each day. Do you think I should just ask about moving forward with a relationship or just sit and be patient? I need help.
I hate the what are we conversation.
Yeah, me too. But it's necessary.
Yeah.
If she want a relationship.
Yeah. I think, now I will say this. I don't have a problem telling people my intentions. Like on the first date, they're like, oh, what are you looking for? I'm looking for a man. A man. That's what I want. So I think you should tell him what your intentions are. Like, you know, so I'm
what
okay
you think,
with,
Shan?
I think intentions for you are different, right? Like just because I'm looking for a partner doesn't mean that I look at you as partner material yet. I'm still collecting information on you. But I think if it's a part of the fabric of the culture of your relationship, it's not hard to bring up. So you need to create that culture from now. It's a little harder now, and you can admit that. It's okay to admit that you fucked up.
Right.
You know what? I really wish that we started off just by doing what we didn't do before. I just like talking about where we're at. This is an opportunity for me to set both of us up for success and to make sure we're both enjoying this. Where are you at right now? How do you feel about me? How do you feel about relationships in general? Okay, cool. Here's what time I'm on. If the fact that we're on very different times is a problem for us moving forward, then maybe we have to stop, or I have to adjust the way that we engage with each other to give myself a fighting chance to get out of this alive and to feel good about what we have and share. So I think you have to, it's awkward because you don't have the culture. I loved the fact that in my Friends of Benefits, my husband, literally daily, he would remind me he didn't want anything more. And we would have the conversation so frequently, just so you know, this isn't anything. And I remember he invited me to go watch like a football game with his friends. And I was stressed out about it. I called my friend, like, this is fucking weird. My friends with benefits, trying to make this thing more. I don't want to be his friends. I don't want to do this and that. And so I just said to him, I'm like, I want to come because I think it'd be a good time and I'm free, but I'm a little uncomfortable with the idea of meeting your friends. How are you going to introduce me? And he was like, oh, there's tons of people coming. Someone else will be there I probably had sex with too. It'll be another thing. It was just like, and so we cleared the air and it was comfortable and I went, I had a great time and I was like, this was good. And I was only able to do that because I had that conversation. But it was a part of the fabric of, again, the culture that we shared with each other. So I think that she has to introduce that into it and acknowledge the fact that you guys have made a mistake by not doing that from the jump.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. How did y'all go from
Oh my
being
God, why
like,
do we have the same
because
brain?
I'm like-
I was literally just about to ask, how did y'all transition?
How did y'all transition from somebody being like, hey, this is casual now. I don't like you, but I like you. So how did y'all even get to, because to go from a sneaky link to marriage is wild.
Right, yeah.
It's wild. And how you say he was like reminding you constantly,
Yeah.
like, I'm like, okay, nigga, I get it.
It was really, I loved it. It was actually, it got a little annoying kind of midway through. I was like, I'm not interested in you in that way either.
Right.
But I look back and think it was very beneficial. And like, again, like I had a fuck buddy and I had a cuddle buddy. So I had sex with him and then I would drive and go sleep at somebody else's house who I wasn't having sex with and just cuddle with that person.
Oh my God.
Because I acknowledged that if I cuddled my fuck buddy, then I would start to get confused. So it happened where he actually told me he loved me. And then at that moment, I was reflecting and I was like, do I feel the same way? Because I'd never even let myself think like that because I
We're like, y'all having
compartmentalized.
sex when he said it, or y'all were just like in casual
No,
conversation?
he texted me. I was in a different state. I was in New York. He was
Oh.
in California. And I had tweeted something about, because I was in New York, I had an amazing club makeout. Like the most like hottest, coolest club makeout with this dude.
This is so
And I was
funny.
tweeting and I was like, yo, I'm learning so much about love not being an Eros love. And he saw that and he admitted, he's like, I had to Google what Eros meant. And then he was like, Eros means romantic. And he was like, so he texted me and he was like, is our love not romantic? And I was like,
Now he got his feelings hurt.
Yeah.
but do you love me?
Gotcha.
I was like, but do you love me? He was
Right.
like, yeah. And then I was like, oh. So I think that there wasn't a big gap for him between when he started to feel that and when he expressed that.
Okay.
But again, we were in the culture of constantly having that conversation. And I think that these relationships can go really well. I think you can have a very successful friends with benefits, but as we were talking about, your biology is not set up for you to have this kind of dynamic.
Right.
So you have to be a little bit more pragmatic and robotic about it. You can't just let it flow.
Got you. That's great advice.
That is
child.
great
Lord
advice,
knows
girl.
I need to
Take
hear
that
that.
advice.
Okay, so we got one more question. It says, I am a single female, team no kids, who recently turned 30 about 4 months ago, and I'm currently thinking about leaving the nursing field to pursue a career in entertainment, television, podcasts, etc. I'm from a small Louisiana town where, what does that say, Drea?
A small Louisiana town
You
where
know
the
I can't.
Monotony?
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 It's the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
Okay, look, because y'all know I don't know these big words now. Of just working every day and going back in the house is the norm, but it's so draining. I always wanted to move away, but life has always kept me stuck here. I feel like I'm behind in life and wanted to take the first steps towards my actual dream of becoming successful in the industry. What kind of advice do y'all have for making moves and strides in the right directions for my dream to come true? Signed with so much love, a young old bitch. So what do you have advice for people who kind of want to get in the entertainment industry, podcasting, and things like that?
I think anything in life, even relationships, is just taking one step at a time, pausing, feeling good, getting grounded there, and then being like, should I go back? Should I move forward? Should I stay here for a while? And so I moved to LA, but I moved to LA to pursue my dreams, and I moved with my car, and I did all that. But I was a wedding photographer in Canada. I saved up enough money to make the transition happen. And when I came here, I got a job working photo booths. And so everything I did just kind of made sense. I was making big moves, but they were like surrounded by like a logical setup.
Yes, you had a plan.
I had a plan.
Yes.
Right. And then I also had backup plans, and also I was okay with acknowledging I may have to go back.
Right.
So I feel like make those big leaps of faith, but make a big leap and then stop, get grounded, and then collect your shit. And then before you leap forward again, make sure that you have your footing.
Yeah.
So I think that people can get tripped up when they go all the way
and start
forward.
trying to do like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. It's like you have to take one step at a time, complete it, and then go to the next one. Like, because a lot of times people want that story of like packing up your car and going to the city, and the next thing you know, you're on tour with Rihanna, and it's like it ain't gonna happen like that.
It could.
It could. Because I mean, I see some people going viral on TikTok and they dancing with Beyonce right now.
Yeah,
it could happen, but I'm a person with a plan. Like, yes, I did pack up my car and I moved to Atlanta, but I also had a friend that was there that I could live with. I had a job already set up.
Yes.
I wasn't just like, oh my gosh, I don't have nothing and I'm gonna make it happen. I'm a planning out person. I don't like to jump in the dark. That's not me.
I'm not.
She a jump in the dark.
That's pretty much what I did. I just moved to Atlanta with no plan.
Yeah.
Here we are.
But, I mean, it works out sometimes.
I mean, it does. But I always say whenever people write us, don't do what I did.
Yeah.
Because you just never know.
Well, do what you did if you're comfortable with either outcome.
Yeah.
Like, this is the thing. When I moved here,
true.
I didn't have any kids. I didn't have any attachments. I didn't have any debt. I didn't have sick parents who relied on me. Like, it was an irresponsible, crazy, responsible decision.
Same.
And then if I had to go back, it wasn't going to be the worst thing ever. And I also think like that whole like quit your job and devote yourself. I don't know. You can find time. There's a lot of things that you probably do that you can chip out before you chip out the job.
Yes. I'm glad you said that because it was so many people that we were working with like before we signed with A5. They're like, quit your job. Well, show me how to make money.
I was
then.
saying that.
But it's just like, no, I have time to work. I can do both. Like, I didn't quit my job until the very, very last. Like, they kind of forced me out because I didn't have time to do both. But I was making enough money to quit. I was just scared. But you can work your job and
you quit your toxic social media habits.
Yes,
quit that friendship that you
you
never actually have a good time with that person. Quit that fuck buddy that you don't actually even enjoy the sex with, but you're hoping will turn into more. Like, quit there's a lot of area to make more time.
Right.
Facts. Because I was not leaving my job. I was like, quit, girl, fuck you. I'm going to work. One thing about me, and I was on time. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but you have quit now.
Oh yeah. Oh, girl, I've been quit.
Right. She quit a few years ago.
Yeah, I quit when it just was a no-brainer.
Yeah, because they didn't leave me a choice though. Look, I'll still be clocking in right now if they let me. I like that consistent check now. But no, I love my job and I'm very blessed. But like I said, I always go to work. It's okay to work. Everybody feels like it's embarrassing to have a job for some reason, and I don't know why.
Right.
Like for me, it was just like, yeah, I'm at work. People be walking, be like, oh my God, Lex from Poor Moms. I'm like, like, yep, what you need? What can I help you with today?
Right.
Like, I'm at work, you know what I'm saying? So I think if you have, a good income right now, you can still follow your dreams, but you can definitely do both.
You can strategize though. I mean, I quit doing wedding photography and then came here and did photo booths because wedding photography takes a lot of mental time. You have to build clientele. Like it took an investment that I didn't have. So I just took the skill and applied it to something that I could just go clock in and clock out at. So I think that maybe for her, if it's nursing, maybe like the way that you're doing it right now is too intensive. Is there a lesser way to use your skills to make the money that gives you the brain space after you clock out to focus on your passion?
Yeah, because I used to work on Poor Minds at work. I used to be on the computer I used to be doing that.
It's a way to make it work, girl.
For sure.
So, Shan, tell everybody where they can follow you and find you and everything that you're working on right now.
You guys were so good at this. I just have a podcast. It's called Lovers and Friends. You guys were a guest on it. We talked about decoupling orgasm from good sex, how they don't have to always happen in order for sex to be great. And that's where people can go.
Yes.
Okay.
So thank you so much for doing it. Really fun. This was like a good therapy session for me. Like,
oh my goodness, that was beautiful.
We had a moment today. So I really appreciate you. Thank you
for
for
a great episode.
Inviting us into your home.
Introduce you to my baby.
Yes. Look, me and her best friend. So tell her as soon as she turned 18,
so
Auntie
cute.
got her. Auntie got her. We outside. So we'll see y'all next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl XP.
And it's your girl, Dre Nicole.
And we are here to talk to y'all about GoodDayScents.com.
Yes, I love me a good candle. And Good Day Scents candles smell so good. And they're soy-based candles.
My fave. So there's
Delicious.
nothing better than getting your house super clean, mopping, sweeping, all that good stuff, and lighting a candle. And let me tell you, my favorite scent is Black Love. I like to manifest that in the air because that's what I want.
Yeah.
And so,
it's vanilla. I feel like you can never go wrong with the vanilla candle.
I mean, it's fall time. That's the kind of scents we need. So also, you can use code POUR, that's POUR, and get 25% off of your order. So go to GoodDayScents.com and get your candle and use our discount code and have your house smelling good.
I was 20 years old, right? Yeah. So for me, with that kind of money, still living in the projects, we had to figure it out.
What's happening, Phoenix?
Hey!
Where the fuck did all these black people come from in Phoenix? Where y'all been?
What's happening?
Where y'all been?
And I'm not speaking for every man in if I make it to be making 200 million, nigga, I can make 200,000. I feel like I'm supposed to fuck any bitch I want to. So if Zion, if you want to do that, live your life.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Lex P.
And it's your girl, Dre Nicole.
And you are tuned in to another episode.
Show these niggas the trick. Now, this my house. I done took y'all everywhere. Now, come on over. All them vines and shit. Them old days and shit. Welcome to the pizza ass.
What we got right here?
This granddaddy, man. This what I got for my 40th. I ain't do nothing to it. Usually I put 4Gs on everything I got. I ain't do nothing to this but put some music in there, you know what I'm saying?
Did you do the do on it?
Did a booty cat.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, you was hitting on that joint?
Yeah, 100%. Give my booty 8 all that.
God damn, okay. That's living the life. When you when you stand on a blow up mattress and you can get a girl lick your ass, eat your ass, you a bad, you cold blooded.
Hey.
You know, but shit, nigga be broken in bitch, man. Think about it. You ever been so broke you just feel like you about to pass away sometime soon? You be like, I know God ain't got me out here living like this.
A Bay Area native, you understand me? You got to get this monkey off your back, you understand me? If you ain't never broke a female off no chicken. Now, it's nothing that, men should glorify and be proud of, but, it's just culture.